Hey YouTube, do not look behind me. I just moved in. This apartment is barely together, but I'm here for you. I'm here to talk to you on the podcast about my switch of both coasts and TV networks. I'm talking about why I'm not watching really reality TV right now, including OC Housewives, what the hell is going on there, Beverly Hills Housewives news. Then we're going to talk a bit about the Free Britney movement. I've got an update for you. That and more, now this.
Broadcasting from New York, New York, it's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
Let the ranting begin. You heard it here. You heard it right. Broadcasting from New York, New York. It's been a while. I hate taking these long breaks, but I'll be very honest with you. I needed it. I have been trying to get my act together for a long time with regards to moving and starting fresh. I was determined to make something out of this year. I am joined by just you and me. This is just going to be a chat back and forth. We're going to talk about Housewives. We're going to talk about Free Britney. But first, I want to update you guys on my life, because so many people have been asking me, and I appreciate it. So I am now in New York. This is a decision I am happy to make. This is nothing happened to me. There's no reason why I left LA. I just needed something completely different. I was really tired of it, kids. I looked back at some old emails. They were going back to 2015 of me trying to get a job in New York. That's as long as this podcast has been around, 5 years. I have been reaching out, taking meetings. Whenever I was in New York, I would take informational meetings is what they called them, mainly at Bravo in the beginning, and then I expanded from there. And I'm very relieved to not be with Bravo, to be honest with you. It's allowed me to keep it so real here on the podcast. And frankly, it just doesn't seem like a group that I would fit into. So no harm done. Don't feel bad for me. I'm fine. In fact, I do have some news that I'm going to break it here on the podcast for the first time. As many people know, I've been with NBC forever and ever, since 2012, on and off. I now have a new job producing podcasts for HBO and HBO Max. So when a friend of mine told me when it rains, it pours, and it truly does, I plan to move with my NBC job and work remotely and just be in New York. That's where I wanted to be. And as things happen in life, this new opportunity came up at HBO where I feel like I'm going to be a lot more respected. I feel like it's going to be a nice opportunity for me. I'm very excited. They have a tremendous library of work, more than I ever had to work with at NBC. So there's a lot of good things happening here. Finally, again, this is not by any accident or stroke of luck or anything like that. I've been working at this for a super long time. And I think those who have listened to the podcast know my love for New York, and this is where I want to be. And I'm an East Coast kid growing up in Cranston, Rhode Island, 02921, and now being here in New York. Just, it makes a lot of sense for me right now. And I'm just so relieved to be out of LA. The riots really put me over the edge. I had had enough. I enjoyed West Hollywood. I never say never, but I'll be honest with you, I've been in New York now just over a week, and it's feeling pretty good to me. So I'm pretty happy with how things have worked out, the new job. I'm glad to share that news with you. I'm always a little hesitant to share things on social media because we all have haters. Hater followers that will, talk about Ramona in New York, Schadenfreude or whatever, do well, but not better than me. And I know they're out there, and all I can say is, look, hard work pays off, and I'm happy with where I'm at. So hopefully everyone can be as well. Things are taking a turn for the better. I'm recording this now post-election, post-results. I'm very happy with the results. So let's hope that things continue. I feel like there's just been a crack in a very dark cave and some positive light is coming in, and that's how I feel. So let's hope things continue. So, what's happened to the news? The election? Don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about that. It's funny, though, I was walking on the street when they made the announcement, and there's a lot of applause throughout the city, music, dancing, celebrations, and this one man asked a woman on a street corner, "What happened?" And she just turned around and said, "I don't know, nothing." And it's like, really? That's the response you're going to give? I don't know, nothing? Interesting, because a lot happened. in a long time. My God, it took a long time. So I feel like for me personally, Grant's Rants, it's been a long 5-year period, and it's been very, very dark before the dawn situation. And I mean, no one's problems are going to be solved by a move or by a new president, and there's a lot of fault that one can take or make. But I'm feeling pretty good overall, and let's hope we can all ride the wave of positivity. Speaking of which, I took a big break with reality TV. I finished New York Housewives, which I enjoyed. I really liked recapping with all the people I had on, genuinely. And I like sharing that with you, and I know people enjoyed it. But that was enough for me for a while. I have not looked at any Housewives since. It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about them, because I'm watching, I'm following from afar. But I'm not watching the shows. And that same thing for 90 Day. I just kind of burned out. I know they took a break there too because of production with COVID and what have you. I just kind of had enough of all of that. I was really over it. I have Housewives fatigue, genuinely. I've been doing this now since 2012, so I've covered them enough, and now they're like so lightly scripted. I mean, it even feels like I'm fooling you and me to sit here on the podcast and say like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen in the new season, if so-and-so's going to get along, because we know like it's all up to story producers. It really isn't even up to the chemistry of the group, where it's no longer a fly on the wall situation. And that's what I miss. That's really the Housewives that I miss. I think so many people do too. RHOC, OC Housewives, the beginning of it all, haven't looked at a frame of it. Haven't seen it. I heard Elizabeth Vargas is already a complete waste of time and a weak player. She can't talk about anything apparently in her life on camera. She's going through a divorce, whatever. I can't say I'm interested. Did Gina Keogh host something? I heard something about Gina doing voiceover, but that might have been the other Gina, the current Gina, which I imagine because she's on payroll. I am an unapologetic Vicky fan. I just respect an original, flaws and all. Tamra was so overproduced. She was practically scripting the scenes herself. There was practically a script involved. We might as well just saw her like typing up an outline. But I don't know. I just don't recognize the show. It's not really getting a lot of pickup. I'm not hearing people talk about it at all. So I can't say I'm missing anything. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Let me know. Like, am I missing out? There are rumors that Tamara's going to return, though. On Instagram, she did one of the stories. I hate that it's Instagram news. Doesn't anyone have a publicist? Can't anyone go on Entertainment Tonight they've got that Bravo Daily Dish podcast. Do something with it. Put Tamara on. Now all of a sudden we have to pretend that Tamara doesn't exist. There's no mention of her. We can't have her in the Bravo universe. She was only on the show for over 10 years. But we have to pretend that she is not currently in existence. Not too happy about that, even though I'm not the biggest Tamara fan, but whatever. They asked her about season 16, this is the upcoming season, if she would be appearing. They actually just asked, like, season 16, ? And she said, good chance of that happening. So, much like the election in this country, you're going to get 50% of people who are furious over it and 50% who are happy over it. I'm leaning on the happier side because, I do want to watch the show, but it has to be good. But I don't know if it's just going to be scripted. Do we need it? I need to be able to see Tamra a little bit. I do miss having her on my screen. And again, I'm not even motivated to watch the show, so who cares? So, I don't know. To me, it's totally unrecognizable. But, if there are any recommendations of scenes I should watch or of specific episodes, I don't know if I'm going to start from the beginning. I don't know if I'm that interested. But I'll take a look if there's some scenes that you guys, want me to take a look at and comment on. I'd be happy to do that. I don't want to totally ditch it, but also, like, what motivation do I have to watch? Like, I'm tired. Like, I want to see something else. And so if it's phony and fake and not interesting, Shannon isn't going to hold me. She's not going to hold me. Sorry. So I'm not too interested. Let's talk about Beverly Hills Housewives. Kathy Hilton is joining as a friend of, there's another new housewife, Crystal Kung Minkoff, who looks beautiful, by the way. Those who have known me from the AfterBuzz days, rest in peace, AfterBuzz. They dissolved the whole thing, if you were wondering. Not my call. I don't know why. Ridiculous. Kathy, I have been a big advocate for Kathy. Just anyone remember the reality show? It was a summer reality show at NBC. I Want to Be a Hilton. Does anyone remember that? I think I was the only person that watched. I remember being on vacation and like making sure we didn't have dinner plans because I had to watch it because this is like pre-DVR. So I had to catch up on that on vacation. It was that important. The Residence was Kathy Hilton's house, which I think was just like a rented house. They just put the contestants in. Kathy does represent real money, whether you like her or not. She's got real money. I believe her and her husband, Rick, are building a brand new house in Bel Air. I've definitely been pessimistic about this edition, all over social media, just questioning, like, what is she going to do? Show up at 2 parties? Kyle's going to have another party, and we're going to have to look at her walk in, and underneath it'll say Kyle's sister / someone's friend. Like, I wanted more. I think we're going to get more. I think story producers are aware of the problem they have, and I think we're going to get a lot of Kathy. I hope we do. I don't want to say I think because I really don't know. And the chances of them really leaning into Kathy are slim. They don't seem to have their priorities straight over there. But Teddy's departure makes sense. And so I'm hoping that somebody's thinking maybe the network had to step in. I mean, I am not a fan of the show, and I used to be. I think somebody had to step in. I really do. If maybe it was someone high up in Evolution, I doubt it. That's the production company of the show. I think they're just really just happy to have the check come in season after season. I think a creative executive, and I know nothing, but I think a creative executive at Bravo had to say, like, we need to rehab this show because it's just not good. Where do you go creatively? And of course, they love any type of engagement. So me talking crap about the show, somebody saying how much they hate Teddy on Instagram, they love that because that's engagement with the show and with the brand. So that's something to keep an eye on because people love that type of stuff. But you also can't hate on the brand too much because then they won't invite you to BravoCon. And there are so many other podcasters who are so worried about that and celebrating the show. You're not going to get that with me. I never cared. I really don't. I am not going to receive an all-access pass to BravoCon 2021. Angie Cohen is never going to let me be a bartender, and that's okay. I'm totally fine with it. Like, who cares? Like, it was not an option on the table anyway, so like, what am I losing out on? So I'm not here to pretend or to fake it. So anyway, let's reel it in. There's a video of Crystal, the new housewife, and Kathy on vacation. They're not on their own trip. They're with the housewives, probably in a very big house, they said, filming. So I'm glad to see that Kathy's made it on a trip. At least we got this far. And I'm a big Kathy fan. Again, I feel like this news is encouraging, and that's where I'm going to keep it there. But does anyone picture a Kathy Rinna fight? I can't even imagine the same two in a scene. But they're saying that Kathy and Lisa Rinna are going to be at odds. And, Kathy is no nonsense, which I appreciate, as you can imagine. And Rinna is all nonsense. Lisa Rinna is total BS. She's BS personified. I can't stand her on the show. So I hope someone checks her hard, man. I really want to see her get it. She's gotten a free pass on this show for a long time, and she's been cashing a check. And not saying she's not doing the work, because Lisa Rinna has done the work, but she's got to be checked. And there's a post that came out today of Kyle and Lisa Rinna wearing the same dress. You could tell they're buddy-buddy. There's a lot of rumors now that Kathy's strategy, which I'm like, why are we talking about this with Real Housewives? But there's a strategy of Kathy wanting to pull Kyle away from Lisa Rinna. Well, it certainly didn't look that way in the pictures. They're looking pretty close, but a lot of damage can be done. But again, do we have to watch these shows and celebrate damage of friendships? I mean, I'd rather just see it fall out organically. I can't say I'm cheering along women like fighting, and that's my problem with Housewives. And this is why I haven't looked at Potomac, and I've been open about this, because to me, Bravo commercialized the fight between Monique and Candace and really pushed that forward to market it as Can't Miss TV. And in this day and age, where again, we are in November of 2020, to promote to women of color attacking one another physically is not a good look. I know that they're going to try to make it into some type of lesson, which they should, but one of the participants, Monique, wasn't too quick to accept responsibility. Again, I'm watching this from the sideline, so I could be wrong, but I'm not as involved as I normally am with the day-to-day. So forgive me, but for this viewer, from my perspective, from this loyal Bravo viewer and podcaster, I'm viewing it kind of unfavorably and a little gross. So I'm not coming for the fights. I'm not here for it. So show me something else. That's all I'm saying. But I hope that Lisa Rinna can really be checked. I mean, we don't need to get her off the show, but someone's predicting a war, quote unquote, a war. Okay, maybe there's going to be a war happening. I don't know. Now, I put on here because this is all I hear about. People trying to get me to watch The Bachelor. Should I watch? I need you to tell me if I should watch The Bachelor. I've never watched. I don't really care. These people, they're so hungry for Instagram followers. I don't think that really, how many have really lasted? I know there's been a few. I don't believe in the experiment. I don't care for The Bachelor. But maybe it's time for me to take a look. Maybe I need to cross over because the universe has really been pushing me in this direction. And I appreciate reality TV and I need something new. So I guess go to a show that's over 20 seasons deep. What's the alternative? Where is the new reality TV? When I'm here questioning if I should watch The Bachelor, you know that we're at the bottom of the well. Like, there's not much left. Big Brother, by the way, terrible season. Horrible, unwatchable. Another disappointment. Yet, if it came back on tonight, I'd probably still watch. I'm just deprived of any type of reality TV. It's all old now. It's all old formats. I've even feel like I've outgrown 90 Day a little bit. And I'm mourning the loss of that. I really am. I'm mourning the loss of can't miss, buzzworthy, water cooler reality TV. So maybe The Bachelor is in my future. Maybe I'll find the time. That's all I can say. I know it's very popular. I'm not hating on it either way. I just never gave it a shot. And now I think it's time. I don't know. You let me know. I want to hear from you guys because you guys know, especially if you're watching. Like, you're the ones who are watching. I haven't, so I'm open to suggestions. So let's take a turn here on the podcast and talk about Free Britney. I always have an update for you. I've been covering this from the very, very, very beginning. The very first Free Britney protest I attended in West Hollywood. I'm very proud of that. I could never get to any more in LA. They were downtown. Parking is expensive. I worked during the day. Half the time, they had these little rallies, and then they get canceled. Not the rally, but the hearing or the presentation in front of the judge. It was like, you show up and then nothing would happen. There'd be no news. But now there's news, and this is what I'm here to fill you in on. So Lou Taylor / TriStar Entertainment, this is her business manager. So when Britney goes, well, they're kind of one and the same because Britney has no legal identity. But let's say when Britney goes to the Palms and has a residency, which she never was at, but let's, as an example, if she goes to a hotel for the Hard Rock, she was there. Lou and her father, they sign on the dotted line. It's like signing up for camp. They sign up Britney for camp, and this is what she's going to do. And her management company has now completely withdrew themselves. They bowed out without notice. It has to look bad for them. There were some small protests in front of the TriStar offices in Beverly Hills, and it just has to look bad. This, I hope, is an eye-opener to the judge where she can say, why did the business manager just, ghost on Britney? Follow the money. Follow the money. There's something there. I don't know anything, but why did the management company just get up and leave? I guess there's a lot of controversy around it. It was no longer profitable for them. I wonder what they're going to do with this Free Britney pop-up. Not Free Britney, I should say this Britney the Zone pop-up. It's been closed since COVID. It's across from the Grove in LA. I did go. I know. I should not have supported, but friends were there and I wanted to go and check it out. I talked about it on the podcast. I'm guilty of attending. But now that her business TriStar is out, like, I doubt they're going to keep that space on Third. Why pay the rent? Why continue? Unless if they've got some licensing agreement through the end of the year. I just don't know what the point of it is if they're no longer representing Britney. That's a big moment, though, for her to lose her business manager, but there's other things going on. She does not want to perform or do anything because she doesn't want to be a show pony anymore, and I can't blame her. So it's no big loss to her, but there was a motion filed now to get her dad out. Now, for some people, they might say, oh, this is not a good move because her dad saved her career and her money. But her dad, I've talked about it, there's some controversy around this guy. You know, you have to think, you know, people watch her on Instagram and the videos and they're like, Britney's not well, what's going on with her? She had to post a second proof of life video this year. Strange, not happy about it, weird, not a good look. She claims she's happier than ever. I don't know if is that because things are shifting in her life. Is she gaining more autonomy? I don't really know. I'd just be happy to know that things are before a judge. I mean, just like after almost 13 years of like living in isolation and being told like, here, go out on the stage. Here, we're going to sell this item now, this perfume, whatever. So at least now like there's something psychologically to look forward to, I guess. So maybe she is doing really well. But, you know, the thing is, nobody, in my opinion, this is my opinion, nobody is motivated to get the medication right because they all have something to gain because, again, follow the money. And I know that's controversial, but, I mean, Michael Jackson's attorneys are representing her dad. You don't bring in Michael Jackson's attorneys for something like this unless there's a lot of money on the line. And Britney's the one paying the legal bills, you know, so it's a bad look all around. Again, you know how I feel about this. They say $60 million are at stake. So yeah, the stakes are high. Her father, in my opinion, has a major conflict of interest here. So he's brought in to protect her, but he makes money on the deals that they sign her up for. Like, for instance, the merchandise they sold at her Vegas show, he gets a cut of that. So what would be the motivation for him to not push her into these projects like the Domination Tour? You know, he's got a cut of it. So the idea of putting her in the conservatorship was so she couldn't be taken advantage of financially. And one could argue that's what's happening here, or has happened over the last 13 years. One could say. This is my point of view from the outside looking in. I'm thinking it doesn't look great. It doesn't look like he's a completely unbiased figure in this relationship, and really this legality of what's been put in place here. So there are some new developments. There's a new trust that she wants, according to her lawyer. She wants this new trust to come in and run her finances, but her dad still wants to remain the co-conservator. I can see maybe to some that's a good idea. That way she's not like being fully sucked in by these companies and trusts and banks. But I don't know. Is he the best choice for her? I really don't know. I mean, I'm judging from the outside. I don't know any of these people individually, so I just don't know. But I think getting a clean break from the father is probably the most healthy option right now because, again, he's got a vested financial interest here. It's too much. It's way too much. And, of course, he's playing with her money, so he can contest all this. He can hire Michael Jackson's attorneys, and it's of no real cost to him because he's playing with his daughter's money. So it's always worth the risk in his case to just like go for it and see what he gets out of it. I don't like that. Now listen to this. Her dad, Britney's dad, Jamie, wants to bring in Michael Jackson's ex-business manager to oversee her estate. Now we all know what happened there. Michael Jackson, the final days of his life, the rented Bel Air mansion. He was going on that tour. This is it because that was it. The bank account was not good. Now he's worth way more dead than alive. So I don't see how this is a smart move. This is just what I'm hearing. This could all be hearsay, but I mean, the lawyers are in place. These people know one another, right? I mean, yes, does he have experience running a performer's estate? On paper, yes. Is he successful at it? Me, I don't think so. Didn't Michael Jackson die basically broke or close to it? I mean, I don't know. We can count the last 10 years of the success that they've had, but I mean, I don't know if he worked with Michael when he was alive. Not a good case, in my opinion. But basically, what it comes down to with Britney is, and the Free Britney movement has been fantastic, and there's the last episode of the oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. Britney's Graham podcast. I encourage you to check out the last episode. They lay it all out. They've got some experts on there, including different professionals who can really speak to this. And I believe it was a psychologist, or it could have been a therapist, but she spoke about having a coach for Britney, much like a sobriety coach for someone who is, maintaining sobriety and kind of re-emerging into the world's post-rehab, or they need that support. She needs someone that she can 100% count on, that can kind of reintroduce her to society. Again, this is someone who was like, I don't even believe they have a credit card. All of this woman's finances and expenses are online because they have to report this information. No driver's license, allegedly. So this is a woman who's been wiped off the face of the earth legally. So she's going to need someone to help her and to come into the 21st century, really. I mean, it's such a shame, and I feel so bad when I see the Instagram videos because all she knows is to perform. So she's there twirling and dancing, and I love to see it. I mean, she's still gorgeous. I love her to death, but something's going to have to change here, and I feel bad that she feels the pressure to have to perform for people. She's worth more than that. So hopefully she can get someone behind her to help her, but you've got to get people motivated, and I just don't know if they're going to do that if they're not financially motivated. So that's all I'll say on that. I want to give a quick update as we round the end of this shorter-ish podcast, but I asked for prayers to my grandmother, Granny June, in October, mid-October, and Granny is still with us. She is back at home. She's comfortable. There was a period of time where I thought that she had passed. I was mid-move, very much an emotional time. She did not have COVID. I'm not going to get into the details. It's her business, but she's fine, thank God. We'll see what happens next. But so far, everything seems to be, knock on wood, great. So thank you guys. Didn't want to put her business out there, but I felt it was important to call on the people that have enjoyed her for over 5 years on this podcast. The power of prayer, I believe, is real. And you know what? When someone is on death's door, you do what you got to do. And I had to put the call out there, and people from all over the world thought of her. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's all I'll say beyond that. I finally updated the YouTube channel with all the episodes of Rants. It took me 1.5 years to do that. That is completely updated, so now we're going to try to do a little bit more with that. And to offset that, I will be closing the Patreon page of Rants. Very few people knew it existed. I always felt so bad because I would put up extended conversations or conversations that would be cut from the podcast. And I had a very hard time keeping up with it. Again, I work in podcasting all week, and then the weekend, I'm preparing this show. So it's been very, very difficult. So I think it'll make it a little bit easier for me to focus on other things, to get rid of the Patreon. I'll be very honest with you. I'm going to keep the show going for as long as I feel comfortable. My life has changed quite a bit. And this is kind of the one thing I could take with me. I had to sell so many things. So I took my podcast equipment with me with the intention of continuing. My heart is in the right place, but things could change. New job, new city, new president, new life. There's a lot of things changing, but I hope to continue to be here. My heart is in the right place. It's with you. And thank you guys for supporting me. I hope people find this episode well. When you disappear as long as I have, it's hard to get people to come back. So if you've made it this far, God bless you. Thank you. Please continue to support the show and tell a few people I'm still here, still doing it. I love you guys for listening. As always, we'll be back with more rants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.